So let's get into this because I got three teams here on Mike's specialty. The Are They Frauds game. It's not really a game. It's more of just I thought this was an interesting question because look, I mean it's basically we're full into football season and I don't really want to rant about the Red Wings anymore. So and they won last night, so I can't even be mad. Uh, I got three teams here this week. We're gonna ask the question: Are these teams frauds? Are they fraudulent? I don't know if it's one way or the other. I have my own answer. Let's start. All right. Team number one is the Commanders. So the Commies, after a really hot start, starting what was it? They were 7-2 start, knocking down the Giants on the road, lose three straight, two of them at home, and two of them in pretty heartbreaking fashion. I mean, like lose by just the 1 point to the Steelers. You lose to the Cowboys on a missed extra point, basically. You miss the extra point, the game totally, flips in favor of the Cowboys. I mean, you let an onside kick get returned for a touchdown. I've never seen that. I've never in my life seen that. And now you're sitting at 7-5. You're still in second in your division. So the NFC East is still wide open for the Commanders. However, I mean, the more that you look at it, and the more like individual performances, to me, this feels like a Jaden Daniels is playing hurt and they're kind of keeping him in. So I was trying to find the game logs. I mean, in these three losses, his best game was against Dallas. But against Pittsburgh, 202 yards. Against Philadelphia, 191 yards. He's got 3 interceptions in as many games. Granted, he's got 3 touchdowns in as many games, but still. The fact that he has 3 of his 5 total interceptions in the past 3 games is a cause for concern. Now, does that mean Jaden Daniels is a total failure? No, absolutely not. But it does mean that I think the flaws of this team that were identified at the beginning of the season are starting to reveal themselves. They don't really have that good of a defense. They really don't actually have as many weapons offensively as they would need to be consistently a good team on offense. I mean, for one, another way of looking back at it is that 3-game win streak they had after losing to Baltimore. You had Carolina, Bears, Giants, 3 of the worst teams in the league that you body bagged. And that you body bagged. I should use that in scare quotes. You body bagged the Carolina Panthers. You did that. You needed a Hail Mary miracle against the Bears, which only the Bears would allow. And you only won the Giants game by a single possession. And that was not a very good game from Daniel. So, I don't know. I don't want to say outright they are completely fraudulent. But right now, they're trending towards being who they actually are, which is a pretty middle of the road team that can sneak up on you and put up some points. And Jane Daniels can make some really great plays with his arm. But ultimately, it's just not talented enough and not really there yet in the NFC for sure. I think it's going to take probably a year or two. I mean, just given the fact that you got your quarterback of building around him, getting him some nice receivers there, building that run game, building that offensive line, and then obviously building that defense. That's pretty much what it's going to have to take because this team is just not all there yet. I mean, need we forget that they did lose to the Cowboys? I mean, come on. I know that just happened, but you will never be able to any team that allows Mike McCarthy to keep his job for any longer, to me, is public enemy number one. So don't do that. And I hate the Cowboys, but I still cannot fathom that Mike McCarthy keeps his job. Anyway, I want to move on to another interesting team that got the win this week as opposed to the Commanders. I'm gonna go with the Denver Broncos. Now, I'm gonna just say this straight up. I think this is complete fugazi. I think what the Broncos are doing is a complete and utter mirage. First of all, let's just go up and down the wins and losses. All right. They started the year 0-2, won 3 in a row. Those 3 were wins against the Buccaneers, who a good team, but not a great team. The Raiders and the Jets. Jets on the road. Jets and the Raiders, terrible. Awful team. Of course you should beat them. Lose to the Chargers at home. Beat the Saints, who stink. The Panthers, who stink. Lose to the Ravens and Chiefs, 2 Super Bowl contenders. Beat the Falcons, who are inconsistent as all get out, and then beat the Raiders again. What is the marquee win for this team? What is the win that makes you think this team is anything more than like a mid feaster, like a team that is feasting off of and look, they don't control their schedule. I'm not blaming them. It just is the reality to me that they are beating up on a lot of teams that are mediocre to not that good. Now, what that does mean is they are trending in a better direction than they were last year, where they were, they were sort of a directionless team. Russell Wilson was not working out. It just wasn't. At least now you can say, okay, you got Bo Nix, you got a rookie, but to me, I feel like the bottom is going to fall out at some point. Maybe this is just my Sean Payton hatred boiling over. I don't think that a rookie quarterback is going to get you that far in this league. You probably win on Monday night next week, or not. Yeah, actually, wait. Yes, next week, because this Sunday is December 1st. I was like looking at the schedule and I was like, December 2nd, that's got to be a week. No, that's next week. Yeah, this Monday night against the Browns. You probably also get that win. That's going to be win number 3 in a row. Then you got the Colts at home. That could be a toss-up game, depending on who ends up at quarterback and what kind of a game Anthony Richardson wants to have. Then you got the Chargers on the road. That's going to be tough. You got the Bengals on the road. You never know what kind of Bengals team you're going to get. That defense is terrible. Then you end the year with the Chiefs at home. I don't know if they're going to be able – if they do sneak into the playoffs, I'll eat my words. I don't know that they're going to be able to do that. It doesn't feel real to me. And they are at least a year away in my mind from being a serious contender. And that's assuming Sean Payton does not, continue to just be himself, which is to say, not great. I just can't stand Sean Payton. Maybe that's just what this boils down to, is that I just don't like Sean Payton, which is fine. I'm all for hatred. Hatred is good. That's not true. Hatred is. Anyway, moving along. All right. So this one saddens me. Arizona, the Cardinals, are they frauds? Look, they started the year. It wasn't great. Wasn't great. 1-4 or 1-3. Not great. Not great, Bob. Then they go on a run. They beat the 49ers. Lose to the Packers. Not good. Then they win 4 straight, and you're feeling good. You're going into the bye, coming out of the bye, and you just show you're behind against the Seahawks on the road. 16-6. I mean, let me just point out the stats on this game, because this is a doozy of a game, guys. All right. You got Kyler Murray, 285 yards, but no touchdowns and an interception. He was sacked not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but 5 total times was he sacked. You know how many yards they ran the ball? If you guessed less than 50 as a team, you would be correct. Total of 49 rushing yards. I mean, talk about putting it all on Kyler Murray. Like talk about having him be your whole team. You can't do it. You can't do it. I mean, this is a team that I think could make the playoffs, actually. But they are finding ways to just be all too inconsistent. It's a problem to me when on one week you can go out and match the Dolphins offensively and win that game, or knock the doors off the LA Rams, or even play a pretty competent, albeit low-scoring game against a Charger team that is a good defense, right? It's another thing to go for no touchdowns and just look lifeless. I mean, this was a game that I thought, oh, okay, Seahawks, they're kind of trending down. I don't trust Geno. I think the Cardinals are going to trend up. They're going to take control of this division, and then it's like the SpongeBob meme. It's like, let them have it. You can have it with the division. That's how the Cardinals were with the division right now. And it just looking ahead, it's not like things get easy. They got on the road against the Vikings. That's a tough game. It's a tough environment to play, regardless of whether or not you think the Vikings are a real team. I think at 8-2, they're pretty real. You got the Seahawks at home, so you don't have a long break without playing with playing. What am I trying to say? You don't have a long break in between games against the Seahawks. Then you got a couple of games against the Patriots and the Panthers. Those could be get right games. Either one of those could get you ahead. Then you got the spiraling Rams and the spiraling 49ers. If you can put together 3, 4, how many games they got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can put together, 3, 4, 5 wins. I mean, any combination of 5 wins, you're in. You get to 11 wins, you're almost certainly in. I don't know whether or not you win the division, that's another question. But if you could get to 9 wins, probably make the playoffs, depending on some of the tiebreaker stuff. You can get to 10 wins, you're probably in a wild card spot, potentially, depending on how bad that division ends up being. Yeah, a lot of these games are division games. Seahawks, and then a couple of games against the Rams and the 49ers, respectively. I don't think they are frauds. However, consistency needs to be the message going into you need to be able to, offensively speaking, not be total duds, right? Like Kyler Murray can be a playmaker. We've seen him do it. So you got to take advantage of guys like Trey McBride. You got to take advantage of having Marvin Harrison Jr., who has been a pretty solid player for them. You got to take advantage. I mean, again, looking ahead at the schedule, they have the schedule in front of them to where they can make the playoffs. Now, if all they do is beat the Patriots and the Panthers and then lose all the rest of these games, then yeah, they are frauds. I just don't think that's going to happen. But maybe I'm just too hopeful for my short king and Kyler Murray. So yeah, there you go. Those are the 3 teams I had. Maybe we'll do this again next week where I just ask, are these teams frauds? And we'll see. I don't know. Maybe we'll check back in with these 3 teams. I think of all the teams in the NFL as far as potential pseudo contenders, I think those 3 teams, the Commanders, the Broncos, and the Cardinals, like those are the teams to watch because they're above water, heads above water for right now. But even the slightest little droppage, if you just push them a little bit, they're either going to rise up or they're going to sink to the bottom. That's how it feels, certainly. So, hi, it's me again. If you enjoyed what you just saw, hit the like and subscribe button. We do live shows every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there.